You feel it, don't you? Something is shifting. Something is settling. The chaos, the push and pull, the constant longing, it's quieter now. Not gone, not forgotten, but different. Because you're different. You've walked through the fire. You've faced the silence, the separation, the lessons that tore you apart and pieced you back together in ways you never could have imagined. And now, here you stand, at the final stage of the twin flame journey. But this is where most people misunderstand. They think the final stage is union. The grand reunion, the perfect love story, the moment where everything clicks into place. But that's only half of it. The real final stage? It's not about coming together. It's about becoming whole, before union ever arrives. Because this journey was never about chasing, never about waiting, never about them. It was always about you. About breaking every illusion that told you love was something you had to earn, to fight for, to prove yourself worthy of. And now you know better. Now you understand that twin flame union doesn't happen when you get your person. It happens when you become the person you were always meant to be. And that's the real test. Because at this final stage, the universe is watching. It's waiting. It's asking, are you truly ready? Not just for love, but for the kind of love that leaves nothing hidden. The kind of love that reflects back everything you are, light and shadow, strength and vulnerability, divinity and humanity. Are you ready to meet your twin, not as a missing piece, but as an equal? Because this is the stage where most people break, where they reach the threshold of union but still cling to old fears, old wounds, old patterns. And that's why some twin flames reunite, and some don't. Not because of fate, not because of timing, but because true union only happens when both are ready to hold it. And holding it, that takes more than just love. Takes transformation. So the real question isn't, when will my twin flame return? The real question is, am I fully standing in the energy of love, regardless of whether they do or not? Because the moment you can answer yes, that's the moment the final stage is complete. And when that happens, union is no longer something you chase. It's something that chases you. But here's the twist. By the time union is ready to arrive, you may realize something unexpected. You don't need it the way you once did. Not because you don't love them. Not because you've stopped feeling the connection. But because you've stopped searching for something outside of you to complete what was never missing in the first place. That's the paradox of the twin flame journey. In the beginning, it feels like a desperate search for them. The longing, the craving, the unbearable feeling of being split in two. But by the end, by the final stage, you realize the search was never about finding them. It was about finding you. And once you've done that, once you've stood in your power, in your self-worth, in your unconditional love, not just for them, but for yourself, everything shifts. Because twin flame union isn't about two halves finally coming together. It's about two wholes recognizing each other. Two beings who no longer need but choose. Two souls who meet again, not as a rescue, not as a lesson, but as a reflection of the love they have already found within. And here's where it gets interesting. When you finally reach this place, when you have surrendered completely and embodied your full self, something profound happens. Your twin feels it, energetically, subconsciously. The push and pull stops. The runner stops running. The chaser stops chasing. The roles dissolve. The illusions fade. And what's left? Just love. Not the kind tangled in expectations or fears or control. Not the kind that says, I'll be whole when they come back. But the kind that whispers, I am whole already. And when you reach that point, when your soul is steady, unwavering, fully anchored in its own light, that's when the universe steps in. Not to give you union, but to match your energy. Because twin flame union doesn't come from wanting it. Comes from being it. And when both souls reach that place, nothing can stop them from finding their way back to each other. Not time, Not distance, not fear. Because once love is fully embodied, it always returns home. But here's what no one tells you about the final stage. It doesn't feel like you thought it would. You expect fireworks. A sudden, dramatic moment where everything clicks, the universe parts the clouds, and your twin flame walks toward you with open arms, ready to embrace destiny. But instead, it feels like peace, quiet, still, almost ordinary. Because by the time you reach the final stage, you're no longer living in the energy of waiting. There's no more searching, no more grasping, no more wondering if or when union will happen. You just are. You wake up in the morning, and your first thought isn't, "Where are they?" It's, "I'm exactly where I need to be." You move through your day without feeling the weight of longing in your chest. The love is still there. Of course it is, but it's not an ache anymore. It's not a wound. It's a steady presence, like the sun in the sky, existing whether you think about it or not. And that's when you know. That's when you feel it. You have arrived. Because this is the part of the journey where the old version of you, the one who thought they needed love to feel whole, has dissolved completely. The person who once begged for signs, who lived in the highs and lows of twin flame turmoil, who felt lost without their counterpart. They don't exist anymore. Instead, there is only you, whole, certain, free, and ironically, paradoxically, beautifully. This is the exact moment when your twin flame is drawn back to you. Not because you need them, not because you called them in, but because your energy has become so full, so sovereign, so unshakably aligned, that they can finally meet you at the same frequency. Because twin flames don't unite through longing. They unite through wholeness. And when you both reach that place, union is no longer a question. It's inevitable. But here's the final test. When union arrives, will you be ready to receive it? Not just in theory, not just in desire, but in practice, in reality. Because here's the truth most people don't talk about. Union isn't easy. It isn't the fairy tale ending where everything suddenly becomes effortless. It isn't the reward for your suffering. It isn't the feeling of finally being saved. Union is the beginning of something new, a new level of awareness, a new level of responsibility, a new level of love, one that demands presence, depth, and truth in ways most people aren't ready for. And this is why some twin flames reach the final stage and realize they no longer want union in the way they once did. Not because the love has faded, not because the connection isn't real, but because they've grown so much that they understand something they never did before. Union isn't about being together. It's about being aligned. And sometimes that alignment means walking together in this lifetime. And sometimes it doesn't. That's the part no one wants to hear. Because we think of twin flames as destined to be together. And in many ways they are. But not in the way the human mind expects. Not always as romantic partners. Not always as the end-all, be-all of your journey. Sometimes, the final stage of the twin flame journey isn't about reunion with them. It's about reunion with yourself. And if you can stand in that truth, if you can hold love for them without needing it to look a certain way, then you've already reached union. Because true union isn't physical. It's energetic. It's the merging of two souls who no longer pull, no longer chase, no longer resist, but simply exist in the purest frequency of love. And when that happens, whether they stand beside you or walk a different path, it won't matter, because you will have already found what you were searching for all along. Not them, but you. And that's the moment everything shifts. Because when you reach this final stage, when you are no longer reaching for union but simply being union, the entire energy dynamic changes. You stop wondering, where are they? You stop asking, when will they wake up? You stop feeling like you need closure, or answers, or even physical proof of what you already know deep in your soul. And in that stillness, in that complete surrender, Your twin flame feels it. They may not understand it in words. They may not even recognize what's happening on a conscious level. But they feel the shift, the absence of chasing, the absence of expectation, the absence of that energetic pull that once kept them running. And that's when they turn. Not because they were forced, not because they were pressured, but because they choose to. And that choice, that's what makes union real. Not fate, not destiny, but free will. Because twin flames don't come together because they're meant to. They come together because they are finally ready to. And by the time this moment arrives, something incredible happens. You don't need them to choose you. Not in the way you once did. Not from a place of fear or longing, or the illusion that love must take a certain form to be real. Because you are love. And when you exist in that frequency, the entire universe bends to meet you there. Your twin feels it. Your life begins to reflect it. And union, whether in this lifetime or another, whether in the way you imagined it or something entirely different, becomes inevitable. Not because you waited for it, but because you became it. And when love is fully embodied, it always finds its way home. It always does.